What's up, everyone, and happy 31 days away from NFL season, otherwise known as Antonio Cromartie days away from NFL kickoff on Thursday night. Then we got a Friday night game, but we got to talk baseball first. We got to talk a little golf. And I noticed in the chat, hopefully you've already hit the like button. If not for us, maybe for Brad Morris. We might have some synergy with Brad Morris, who likes the Oakland A's to score some runs today. Brandon Silva likes the Giants. Mark Hood likes the Guardians. Well, we want to see what our experts like as well, but let's take a look at how we did on Friday. Listen, UFC didn't go very well for us. Let's get a little bit of perspective here, though. We've got a plus 110, a plus 470 pick. Chip Patterson loses plus 260 pick. So while we go 3 and 5, a lot of those picks were in the plus 100, 200 to 400 to 500 range, but still, we got to do better than what we did on Friday, and we've got just the people to do it, ladies and gentlemen. On this Monday, we've got the crew right here. We've got Zack Cimini, we've got the sniper, and we've got Amags. Amags, I'm always curious what hat you're going to be wearing. It's usually correlated with the pick. I don't want to get to the pick quite yet, but you're wearing a Reds hat. Is there any correlation with what you're about to tell us?
There is. Tough weekend for some of those Reds hitters. We obviously saw the no-hitter from Blake Snell. So, yeah, we are going with a little Reds play today.
All right. Zack Cimini, you got to be excited for NFL season around the corner. How are you today, sir? I haven't seen you in a little bit.
I'm doing good, Sia. Yeah, if you can see the shirt, I was going through some stuff. I'm going to be getting rid of this banner from 2017. I'm going to be putting up sports memorabilia, but this is the old school Thunder and Lightning vintage shirt, Ron Dane, Tiki Barber. So definitely excited for football coming up.
That is old school. You know what? It reminds me of Warwick Dunn and TJ Duckett a little bit, because they had kind of a Thunder. Like, if you know of any other running back tandems that were kind of that Ron Dane to Tiki Barber, put it in the chat. Zach, it sounds like
Warwick Dunn, Mike Allstott.
Oh, there you go. That's another one. Tampa and then to Atlanta. Sniper, anything from you in the NFL streets?
Yeah, I was going to say it's Nathan Vasher days away. I always got to go with a bear. So 31, absolutely. Nathan Vasher, baby. He was one of the original ones that took a field goal back. 108 yards first. The next year, Devin Hester did it, but Vasher did it first.
Devin Hester, newly minted into the Hall of Fame. I got a chance to interview Devin Hester a few years ago. Really nice guy, as you might expect. Such a dynamic football player. I would say, if you want to use that word dynamic, I would say he's like inside the top 10. I mean, that guy just video game type moves and speed. All right, Amax, we've got 2 picks from you, and one of them is a video game type player. This is a guy, and you're wearing the Reds hat, so everybody in the chat probably already knows who I'm talking about. By the way, good call out. Tyler Graham, D'Angelo Williams, and Jonathan Stewart. Love that tandem for the Carolina Panthers. This guy, Elly De La Cruz, is so good. He's must-see TV. He's what baseball needs, in my opinion, is guys like that. You just can't take your eyes off them, whether they swing and miss or whether they hit one over the fence or whether they're just hitting a single. Elly De La Cruz is that dude. You've got him as one of 2 picks, so start us off.
Yeah, we're going to back Elly De La Cruz tonight, and I think, as you mentioned, he's incredibly fun to watch, but when he faces left-handed pitching, his batting average is like 60 points worse. And so he's much closer to 200, whereas when he hits against right-handed pitching, he's up around 275, 280. So this weekend it was a little bit tough for him when you face a guy like Blake Snell, and then you face a Kyle Harrison, you face a Robbie Ray, right? Like, just hasn't had the right-handed pitchers. He had a couple at bats against righty relievers this weekend, but that didn't really go so well for him as well. I think when he gets into this matchup today against Rodry Munoz, he is going to be stoked. So we're going to play the over 1.5 hit run RBI. It's only minus 120, and that was a big piece of playing this because you're going to get him towards the top of that lineup. And I personally think it should be closer to like minus 140 or worse even. So getting this number on MGM was pretty important to me. And again, even yesterday when he didn't, the last 3 days he didn't perform well, but specifically yesterday when he didn't, he had 2 stolen bases. So when this guy gets on base, he can do things with his legs. As you mentioned, he's electric. I think he does enough here today, not only with the bat, but with his legs to score, a couple of runs, if not just 1 run, get a hit, get an RBI somewhere like that so he can cash the over. And then secondly, truthfully, when I'm looking at this White Sox game, I think Kai Bush. I don't think his actual name is Kyle. I might be wrong there, but Kai Bush. There's not much that I love. I don't know why this guy is coming up to start this game. We already saw some of you in the chat mention the A's. I like the A's and some of their hitters, but we're going to go with the team total on the first 7. We're at plus money here, plus 100. So I like it over 3.5 at plus money. And as I mentioned, I don't really love Kai Bush coming up. Don't know why he is. The AA ERA looks good, but the AAA ERA in the 4 starts, it's over 6. He really hasn't been good there, at least a hit per inning, giving up a bunch of home runs. I think he has a tough time now stepping up pretty quickly in class here against major league hitters, a team that's been averaging almost 5 runs a game since after the All-Star break. Just doesn't seem like a very good spot to me. You're getting plus money. Home team, so I went with the first 7 instead of the full game, but I will say I have no problem on the full game as well. So there you go. Play those A's hitters. We saw Rooker, we saw Butler, all those names in the chat already. I have no problem playing those names tonight.
Yeah, we just heard about the A's from you. We heard about the A's in the chat earlier. There's others that are saying take some A's action as well. And maybe we'll hear from the sniper. Maybe he has some A's action. I don't know, but I'll tell you what. Lee Brown and Bradley Jacobs, CJ2K and Lendale White. That's a good one. Icky Woods and James Brooks circa 1988. We are digging deep there. Absolutely love that. Snug the cat. And then Danny Brasco's in here. He says, Giants did it again after Rondane and Tiki Barber with Jacobs, Ward, and Bradshaw. Wow. Those are good call outs. All 3 very, very solid running backs. All right. Priest Holmes days away, says Mike McClure. If you have a question for him, I don't know, maybe you have a golf question. I have 2 first clicks to give out to all of you. The first clicks I made this morning when lines came out for the Windom Championship, I went ahead and bet them, and those are going to be my plays to give out today. Maybe Mike McClure has some golf knowledge to drop or some baseball knowledge to drop. You can ask him in the chat. Danny Brasco's in the chat as well. Before we get to any of that, I do want to tell you that new BetMGM customers, that promo is still alive and well. You can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10 and you'll receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. All right, well, we got to get to some running back tandems. We got to get to Zach's pick, Sniper's pick, my golf plays. And we're going to do it right after this message from our partners.
We need your sports news anywhere.
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
All right, we're back on the Early Edge presented by BetMGM. Zach, what's kind of cool about this Monday is that, normally we'll get a start time of like 6:40, maybe 7:10, and then just going into that 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock slate where we can watch baseball until 1 in the morning. That's what I do. But we've got a game that, correct me, I'm checking my notes. Yep. 5:15 Eastern Standard Time today. It's the Mets. It's the Cardinals. I'm excited that I get to tune into something at 5:15 Eastern Standard Time. And I'm even more excited for your play because you're expecting some action in this one.
Yes, yeah, this is a makeup game between St. Louis Cardinals and New York Mets, and this total has moved within the hour, going up from 8.5 to 9 runs. I still like it on the over. You have that push condition if it does hit on 9, but I'm not expecting the St. Louis Cardinals to have a hangover from playing in prime time yesterday against the Cubs. Both these teams want to win. St. Louis off a bad series against the Cubs, lost 3 of 4. The Mets, a poor road series against the LA Angels where they lost consecutive games as road favorites. And you look at this St. Louis Cardinals team, over their last 10 games, 8 of those games, 9 runs or more have been scored. So another reason why I circled this game. And I look at Sean Manaea. He's a potential regression candidate today for the New York Mets, coming off a season high 11 strikeouts, no runs allowed against the Minnesota Manaea this season. He faced him in early May, and he did wear down in his last inning pitch where he gave up 3 runs in that final inning pitch. So I think St. Louis can get after him a second time seeing him. And then you look at Andre Palante. This is the first time in his career he's going into his 11th start as a starting pitcher. Definitely a dangerous spot facing this New York Mets lineup that ranks top 7 over the last 30 days in runs and hits. I'll go over the total here of 9 runs.
Wow, absolutely love the stats being dropped there. Interesting stuff coming from the Mets over the last, 10, 15, 20 games, whatever that time period was, Zach. I'm interested too, because we've got a lot of picks in the chat. I know Bradley Jacobs is putting some soccer picks in the chat. We have some USA basketball picks in the chat. Somebody had a first half play. The Maestro is also in the chat. Japan's in the chat. If you haven't already hit the like button, please go ahead and do that. And I think it's probably a good time as I scan for more running back tandems or picks. I'm going to go ahead and give out my golf picks out. I've got, listen, the early wedges tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You'll have my full complement of golf picks. That includes finishing positions and matchups and things of that nature. We got the Windom Championship. And just so everybody's educated on how this works, the outrights, unless it's a major, the outrights don't come out until Monday morning. So when I give you a golf play on a Monday morning, it's usually because I think the line's probably going to move. These lines are fresh, and I do think a guy like Billy Horschel, who I like at plus 2,500, I think he could move down to, let's say, plus 2,200 or even plus 2,000, for example. So when I kind of give you a first click look, it's usually because if I didn't think the line would go down, I'd probably save it for the early wedge. But because I think the line could go down a couple of points, I may as well go ahead and give it to you now. And Billy Horschel is my first click. I've got two guys to give you, one in the 25-1 range, one in the 50-1 range. But Billy Horschel at 25-1, I really like him. If you've been paying attention, he's been in really good form. I shouldn't say really good form, but he's been in very good form as of late. Earlier in the year, just nothing was there for him. He had some issues with his clubs, with his irons. He's adjusted that, and he's really kind of come on, and he's actually in the FedEx Cup standings. I think he's just inside the top 30, and I think he's going to chase some guys down as we get to the playoffs. This is the last event before the playoffs. But when I look at this field, Sung J M is in this field. He's good. He's got a great history. Siwoo Kim is in this field. He's good. He's got a great history. There's a lot of decent golfers in this field. But I think Billy Horschel is one of those guys that can really knock them down on a Sunday specifically and win this tournament. He's got good history here. I like the metrics lately, the approach play, the putter. It all clicks. It all checks the boxes. So I'm going Billy Horschel at 25-1 to win the Windom Championship. The other one, a bit of a long shot, and I'm paying homage to what we did, what we accomplished about a week and a half ago at the 3M Open. After round one, who did we bet? Who did we all cash? 60-1. We cashed Vegas. Well, Johnny Vegas is now 50-1 to win the tournament. And I wouldn't necessarily say this is like the optimal course fit, but it kind of, and what I mean by that is it's not a super long course, but Johnny Vegas, the ball striking has been there. The putting has been there. He's got decent history here, albeit he hasn't played it over the last couple of years. I think Johnny Vegas at 50-1, I would have expected this number to be like 40-1, maybe 45. I do think it gets bet down to 45-1, but I think Vegas is a candidate to really carve deeper into these FedEx Cup standings. He stands at 67 right now, which is not necessarily a safe place to be. I think he's got a lot of work to do, and I think 50-1 is a good number. So first two clicks, I'll give you a couple more clicks tomorrow on the early wedge at 7 o'clock with Patrick McDonald and Eric Cohen. But my first two outright picks, Billy Horschel, Jonathan Vegas. Join us on the early wedge tomorrow at 7. You'll get all of our picks, and not just outrights, of course, all kinds of different picks, including DFS. All right, those are two for the Windom. Now, Sniper, I've kept you quiet long enough. I know there's been some Bears chatter in the chat. Love to see it. And somebody, I think it was Eric David, said, hey, that Cincinnati Reds cap, a lot of correlation, a lot of symmetry or similarity, if you will, to the Chicago Bears logo, which is actually very true. Very interesting. I never noticed that. But you've got to play, speaking of Amags and the Reds, you've got to play that has some symmetry with one of his plays. And then you got another play on the San Francisco Giants. So let us know what you got.
I do. I'll jump right into the pick where I will go with a little bit of synergy with Amags here. I'm going to go A's over 4.5 runs for the whole game on the team total. One of the reasons I didn't just want to isolate it a little bit shorter was the White Sox bullpen is pathetic. Since the All-Star break, 6.85 ERA. In July, it was 6.48. In 3 games so far in August, it's 9.82. That bullpen is absolutely getting destroyed. And it's kind of underrated with how bad it is because you can usually easily look at the lineup, then you look at the starting pitchers, and you might forget, oh, yeah, the bullpen's also that bad. So even if for some reason Kai Busch kind of shuts the A's down for one time through the order, which I agree with Amags, I think he'll get beat up. But even if he does kind of pull off a little bit of magic, don't give up on this one. Stay with the A's. They're going to get runs eventually here. So I like the over 4.5 there at plus money. Also going to go to DC here. Logan Webb to get the win is how I'm going to play this. It's a fade Patrick Corbin day. Any which way you want to go. I went with Webb to get the win. Look, he had struggled for 4 starts before last time out, but last time out, his changeup was actually moving again. He had really, really good stuff, and he threw a shutout against an A's team that averaged 5.69 runs per game in July. So the A's can hit. That's one of the reasons I played them. Webb went out and threw a shutout against them last time. The Nationals do have a subpar offense. They're 24th in the majors in OPS. So I like Webb in the spot. The Giants have won 7 out of their last 9, so there's a good chance for them to win this game. And again, Patrick Corbin Day. He is better at home than on the road, but it's still a 4.99 ERA at home. I think Webb's going to throw well. The Giants will hit Corbin. Going to get a Logan Webb win here.
All right, Logan Webb, and we've got A's symmetry. By the way, in the chat, John kind of calling me out for MLB picks or lack thereof in terms of winners. I think I've made 2 MLB picks, maybe 3 in the last 3 weeks. It could be bordering on 4. So I'm recognizing I'm not super hot there. I've got 3 great cappers on. So feel free to point out whatever you want. But when you say I haven't won an MLB play in a long time, I'm not exactly giving them out every day either. So your negative energy is noticed, John. Once every 3 weeks or once a week, you kind of dip in here and you say something negative. You're free to say whatever you want, I guess. But at a certain point, it just becomes negativity. And we don't really love that in here. So say some positive stuff too. Let's see if we have any other picks in here. Love the 2 picks from Sniper. Fade Patty Corbin Day has arrived, says Bradley Jacobs. Sniper, do we have anything on that? Like, obviously, everybody notices Corbin is pitching tonight. You can't always default to that because the lines adjust, right? Anything of interest in that game specifically?
Well, yeah, I just played Webb to get the win. That's the same game.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was because a lot of the other lines were really juicy. That was where I found Webb was only minus 105 on the win. So it's any which way you can kind of get the odds down there. But I mean, Giants offense, you might be good with a team total over there. That'd be okay. Amags, go ahead.
Yeah.
I put it in the chat too, but Tyler Fitzgerald is a name that we've been betting on the hit run RBI a lot. He's been, he's been honestly just raking since he's come up. So I think that one, it was at 2.5. Now, you guys know when you go from the 1.5 on hit run RBI to 2.5, it's obviously a much bigger jump. But I still think at plus 120, if you want to get some, something down on that side of the game, you're going to get that pretty good number, in my opinion, for where you're at. So I played it.
All right. Yeah, I like the call out on Patrick Corbin. And you're right. Yeah, the Logan Webb play is certainly one pretty good way to play that as well.
The last Patrick Corbin Day, we won 17-0. Diamondbacks won 17-0 on that one. And Amags, you and I, and was it Larry? We all 3 had plays on that, and that was like the easiest hit of all time.
Absolutely love it. I also love Lee Brown saying Jaden Daniels NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year at plus 550. In our futures draft with the SportsLine crew, that was actually one of my picks. Kind of a homer pick, if I'm going to be completely honest. Rick Funcannon already given out Bears Titans week 1 unders. Absolutely love that. My favorite play week 1, and I'm pretty sure McClure, if he's still in here, Numbers Edge likes this one as well. I like the Colts to win outright against the Houston Texans week 1. They're still getting plus 1.5. You can get that at plus 102. A money line outright. Can't wait to talk more football, ladies and gentlemen. But let's talk recap screen before we get out of here. All right, Windom Championship. Listen, I got 2 outrights. I'll give a couple of more. I'm probably going to pepper the board in that 50 to 70, maybe even 80 to 90 to 1 range with the rest of my picks. But I did want to take one semi-favorite. That's Billy Horschel at 25 to 1. And then going right back to Johnny Vegas at 50 to 1. Zack Cimini, 515 today. We get baseball. Mets, Cardinals, over 9 at minus 105. Amags, Ellie De La Cruz, must-see TV, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs at minus 120, and A's for 7. Team total over 3.5 at even money. Sniper, A's team total over 4.5 at plus 105, and Logan Webb to record a win at minus 105. Ladies and gentlemen, that was an MLB intensive show. We threw in a little football, a little fun with that, a little bit of golf. We've got the whole slate of MLB and soccer and everything else the rest of the week, so stick with us. Let's get that recap screen turned around tomorrow and get a winning record. On behalf of Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s, Zack Cimini and 3s and 4s, Zack Cimini, Matt Sniper, and of course, Amags, and everybody in the chat, including Danny Brasco, Mike McClure, and the Maestro, and all of you with all the picks, all the conversation, and all the positivity. We really appreciate it. Thanks for also hitting the like button. I'm the Counselor of Cash. This is the Early Edge. We rest our case.